Because Gary Lineker has stuck his foot in the wrong place again. The controversial Match of the Day presenter is causing the BBC yet another headache after he reposted a statement from a pro-Palestine group on the social media site X, of course, formerly known as Twitter. The post called for Israel to be banned from international football because of what the group called violations of international law committed in the Gaza conflict. Well, joining me now to discuss this is the former BBC presenter, broadcaster Danny Kelly, great friend of the show. Danny, once again, old Big Ears has put his foot in it. Is it time to put a sock in it?
I think, Martin, for the future of the BBC, you and I disagree about whether the BBC should have a future in its current funding model. I believe it should do. And I worry about the 18,000 people who work for the BBC, most of whom will probably agree with Gary Lineker's point of view on geopolitics and left-wing socialism. But nevertheless, they are reliant on the future of the licence fee. And Lineker is doing more to single-handedly defund the BBC than any defund the BBC organisation. And this is coming from an Everton fan who absolutely adores the ground that he walks on. I don't want to see the licence fee defunded, but I think he needs to stop thinking about his political activism and start thinking about his colleagues at the BBC. He is the poster boy, Martin, for defund the BBC. And if ever you wondered where his positioning was in this Gaza Israel tragedy, well, it's no longer ambiguous. It's firmly anti-Israel, and he's making a mockery of the BBC. And if I was in charge of the BBC, I would pay him off. I'd get rid of him out of this current contract because he's just incorrigible. He won't listen. His activism is more important than anything else. And I think that's a conflict of interest now. It's such a blatant conflict of interest, Martin.
And Danny, very critical of our position in the Gaza conflict, but very quiet on his own position in taking the oil money from Qatar, not famed for their human rights, of course.
No, of course, the double standards, it stinks, Martin. And if he wants to start having a pop at countries with links to terrorism and football, then he should start with Iran. Iran is a hotbed, insidious hotbed, inextricably linked to worldwide terror. Yet Mr. Lineker keeps his mouth shut about Iran and the Iranian football team. The double standards, it's gobsmackingly obvious, Martin. And yeah, I think he's on borrowed time. I wonder, though, Martin, whether he understands that this is his last season at Match of the Day, maybe. And he's going out, he's falling on his sword, and he's going out as this left-wing martyr. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.